Hi, this is Arik,
And Aurelia.
and we're here to talk about life and interesting things.
So we think, but as always, you will be the judge of it.
Either way, what we have to talk about today is
Ageless!
So, Aurelia, a lot of times sometimes you give me this answer that I'm just like, I have to now ask you to explain more in detail because sometimes when I ask you questions about how to deal with people and how to deal with certain things about people and certain relationships, one of the answers that you give me is that it depends on your relationship with the person.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that's kind of like a killer phrase, even though, yeah, it's true, but that in and of itself is coming from a place of someone like yourself who's healthy with people.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like knowing what your position or your relationship with someone is like at least 10 episodes of Ageless and maybe 2 episodes of Speechless. Like, it takes a lot to know where you stand in a relationship with someone. Parentheses, honestly. I mean, maybe not for you, but like for a lot of people, so many people don't know where they stand with people, and that's like where how doubts are coming in. So what do you mean by that? Like, that's how doubts are coming in, and that's how worries and insecurities and fantasies and projections that might not even be true, like, where then they make up that's what a relationship is. And maybe it's not like that. So I mean, what do you mean? Elaborate. What do you mean, like, it depends on your relationship with that person. Like, so for example, for our listeners, like when I ask Aurelia, okay, like, so if someone does something that's like not cool, like, do you confront them or not? And then she'll say something like, well, it depends on my relationship with the person. So elaborate. What does that mean?
Okay, that means that if it's the cashier at the supermarket, it is very, very unlikely that I will confront the person on doing something, that wasn't cool. However, no, because if that person is just mean to me or did something that's not cool, like towards me, like in that relationship, then I really don't care. No, I just know, okay, well, whatever, I find an excuse. Maybe the person had a bad day, maybe she just got horrible news, maybe, somebody's sick, or, and just vented for a second. So, that's, I'm Teflon to that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, for the store clerk, that's pretty obvious. Maybe not for everybody, but maybe someone would take it personal or.
Yeah, well, on the other hand, if somebody is doing something that's not cool, that's also not an intimate relationship to me. Like, for example, the bakery in the house where we live, like downstairs, there's a bakery which for the longest time was very convenient to us because, you traipse down in your pajamas and you come back with like the most amazing pastries and semmeln and britzen and breads and all of that. But then we found out by happenstance that they use some
Pig
lard on their pretzels. And
God only knows what else.
Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Because by law they are not required to tell the public what they use. Bakeries are exempt from that full declaration law. And then now...
Wow, that's really intense in and of itself.
Personally, I don't care so much about it because once in a while I can eat this pork lard, and whatever. But then I know that there are many refugees, for example, frequenting this bakery, and it's like a franchise. So one is close to the school, like on the way to the school, where
Like
the school
Islam,
kids,
like,
and yes, and a lot of Muslim people.
or even tourists who might be, you know,
Yeah, like
vegetarian.
they eat
or-
it, or somebody like maybe for health reasons doesn't eat like this kind of stuff,
Vegans, vegetarians.
and so I was just really upset about that, and I confronted them. I
Uh-huh.
went all the way to management and to the. When I didn't get a response from them other than, well, we don't have to do it, to declare, because it's all I wanted. I said, like, you can do what you want. Of course, I'm not telling you how to do your breeds. And then I even gave them a little marketing concept, how to really make it nice and special that they do it. And I said, an ideal world, of course, you would do a vegan version and then that version. Like, nobody got ever back to me. No one. It was really just horrible. Like, the owners, like, nothing.
And you just want a declaration.
I just wanted a
just
declaration.
so that people would know what they're eating.
Exactly.
Like, you don't go into a bakery and think, like, you're getting a bread or a pretzel or something. Like, one of these, like, pretzels you get, like, at baseball games. Like, these big, fluffy pretzels. And, like, if you're vegetarian or whatever and then you order it, you don't think it's going to be meat.
No, you don't. And so I was like, okay. I went to the local newspaper and I took out a half-page ad, which, was not cheap, I can tell you that. But I felt like I kind of owed that giving back to the community. I felt so bad for everybody, like thinking that they would eat for religious or health or just, lifestyle reasons.
Yeah, I mean, I don't eat pig for spiritual reasons, and I mean, I ate some of those pretzels, and I did feel something was happening, but I didn't know what.
Yeah, and every time, like afterwards you would, like your energy would go down,
Yep.
but then we would find other excuses. But then, of course, it made sense to us,
Yeah.
And so you could call this a confrontation, and obviously we don't go there anymore. And
No.
I mean, they so don't like us, we would be afraid that they spit in our food if we would go there.
Our pictures are, like, in the back, like, do not serve,
Which of course is funny because
Do not allow on premises, even though it's our house.
yeah, and we share a basement.
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, that's
so
right.
we see all of them often when
In the garage, yeah,
in
in
the
the
garage or
basement,
in the
yeah.
basement at the same time. Well, either way, so much to that, So with in both of these examples, I do not have intimate relationships with the people, but the one thing is, like, it is something that concerns me. And then I can be Teflon to that, and I can find an excuse, and But the other thing, that has a bigger impact, and then I am likely to speak up.
So you don't think the thing that concerns you has a bigger impact?
Like with the person where I do not confront it, it might, but that
But
one
then you
off.
know.
Yeah, that one off where that happened to me.
Yeah, but, like, when you say that and stuff, like, I mean, maybe you don't understand that because you're so healthy, but maybe you do. But it's like sometimes people think that, no, you do know that. I know you've had relationships like that, like, where people think that they're closer to you than they think that they are. And in these kinds of relationships, like, let's just pretend like you felt like that around somebody, and then, like, I'm just saying, to, like, hypothetically, like, to put you in that position, like, say that let's pretend that you thought you were closer to somebody than you are.
Okay.
And then, like, you'd be giving them the business all the time. That would be inappropriate.
Well, that's appropriate in any relationship.
It's appropriate in any relationship.
Inappropriate.
Inappropriate. How do you mean?
It's inappropriate in any relationship because I don't have to give anybody the business but myself. If it's just like that small thing. Like I really was hoping in my example I made it clear, like if it's concerning a wider public, then of course, I may do something about it. But if it's really just between a person and me
No, yeah, that's
personally,
clear. That part's clear.
I cannot give them the business. I would always look at myself first. We had this, I think, in podcast number 1.
Yeah, so basically then I understand, like, if somebody is acting like, you see something that could improve, if someone's ego is out of control and you could give them some advice that would help them. I've asked you this before. I've only asked you this twice, and then every answer you've given, one was on the podcast and one was actually in a live event that was video, like live streamed. It was the summer solstice event a year ago. And you said, well, it depends on my relationship to that person. So basically then, what you're saying is that if you have some advice, or you make an observation to somebody, it's like, that could improve their lives, you wouldn't say that to the store clerk.
No, because I am not
Yeah.
into the business of giving unsolicited advice.
You would look at yourself.
I would say
so it's unsolicited advice.
I would say it to my
But where
students.
where is it not unsolicited?
It's
then? Okay.
if nobody asked me to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If they are living their life just fine, even though I see, that's
Right.
really not working. If you would do this, it would work much better. But nobody asked me. So as well as it meant, like from my side, it's just meddling. Like giving unsolicited advice is meddling, and it always comes back to bite you, and it should.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, if this is a student of mine, then, they have some investment in me telling them what and what not to do. And then...
Not that you ever would. Mm-hmm.
That's right. In that sense, I do not tell them what to do, but
No.
I do tell them what
You do
could
not.
be improved.
Mm-hmm.
I do. And then,
Mm-hmm.
I show them options.
Mm-hmm.
Where in the first
When
case,
they
I
need
do
to bounce
not.
things back.
I do not show them options. I just leave them be, trusting that all in its good time it will be taken care of. There will be something that happens that will show them, if I do it this way, then great. And that is worth way, way more for somebody's soul development than me running around being holier than God, giving unsolicited advice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, for me, it's like I generally, like in casual social settings, when people are like just talking about stuff and life and stuff, I'll just like keep my mouth shut. But like in a session, like I will speak to the vessel, like I will speak to the capacity of the person, like what they can hear. And sometimes they're surprised, like, I won't say things that are too much for them to hear. I mean, there's no way, it might take 10 sessions before I can ever say something, and then, maybe, you know what I mean? Like,
I totally know what
you
you
can't
mean.
do that. It's damaging. It's like, you can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, you can, like, you can guide people towards it, and that's more empowering. But I guess then I understand, so that in the case of your students, that's clear, but I'm talking, like, in the case of personal friendships and relationships, like, people that, maybe it's our roommate, or, just best friends, or not even, like, or people that we work with, or even associate stuff like that. Like, no, I guess what I'm understanding is like no one's interested in your opinion.
I don't know, but I'm not interested in giving it, because I do not
that's
assume.
nice.
I do not assume that
That's
they're
nice.
interested in it. I mean, I do have friends who I see, stuff is going on, and I just love them the way they are. There's that's what it is. But then once in a while, especially the female part of the, relationship, like asks me a question, and then I honestly say it. Then, you get the truth, nothing but the truth.
Yeah.
And then maybe she goes like, oh yeah, this is true, and maybe thinks about changing that, or maybe not.
Yeah, so it's only upon requested.
Yes.
It's not like, so basically then like the baseline is when you say it depends on my relationship with that person, it means I only say it once it's being requested and asked.
And I know that sounds cold, but
no, I don't think so.
This is really how it is.
No, I mean, excuse me. No, it doesn't sound cold, if I may say so myself, because I know what's packed in those answers that you give.
Yeah, and I remember
the ego does not want to hear that.
Like I had this friend once, and she was really, really upset. Like she said, and I can't believe it, and you want me to take a session, so you want me to pay so that you can listen to me. And I interrupted her right there.
Exactly,
I said, darling, no. You're not paying for me to listen. I always listen. But you are paying me to speak.
Wow, it's beautiful. Yeah, because you need to have... so life coaching, it's really intense. Like, you have to have the vessel in order to receive...
my loaded answers.
Your lotus answers.
Oh, thank you. That's beautiful.
That's really intense because, honestly, if I think about it, like, when I watch people interact with you, they are not interested in what you have to say.
No.
No, I mean, like, they don't ask. Maybe, like, they'll demand interaction, but then they only want it to counter. Like, I'm talking, like, in social... Especially, like... I mean, men can be really dense and stupid sometimes. Like, there's no doubt about it. But, like, especially men, like, sometimes they'll just, like... You'll come with this, like, yin energy, and they will, like... Their mother triggers are completely up, and it's, like... They can't handle it.
No, they can't.
It's so intense. And that's interesting, like you said, like sometimes with the female, like they want to know and like they want to ask, like, but with the men sometimes, oh my god, it's like David and Goliath.
Yeah. It's really, and I have to say, that in the beginning of Arik's and my relationship, Arik was always defending me from that.
Yes.
Until, and then he would get into these tussles with these guys, and I would just say, no, please, I'm really, really okay. I really am okay. It's just, they think I'm their mother. I know I'm not. I'm not. Let's just move on.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm like a spiritual warrior. Like that's totally true. Like I would totally come to the rescue where it was not needed.
Yeah.
So like that's really cool because that's totally true. And now I just, fight myself.
Yeah.
In these situations. So it's so like depending on your relationship, and by fighting myself I mean like battle my own ego urges to act and do stuff, and because men always want to like do something. Or yang energy, doesn't have to be men, but yang energy always wants to act. That's what it does. You know that between men and women, like actually in the brain, in the anatomy of the brain, like in the physiology of the brain, like men can actually go nowhere in their thoughts.
No, I only know this as a joke.
No, like literally, like they can seriously go to the space where they're just not thinking about anything.
No.
And I'm not saying it's like meditative or anything. It's just like, It's like a sleeping shark. Like, it's just not, like, women can't do it because women are more, like, they're simultaneous and, you know, more multidimensional, and they're always thinking, like, what's next, what I need to do, like, this, that, you know, this, the kid, you know, the you know, the dog, the cat, the, you know, the mom, the, you know, the whatever, like, thinking of a million things, but the man can seriously just sit there and have no thoughts whatsoever, and then, like, the wife's like, or the girlfriend or whatever the yin is like, you know, what are you thinking? Like, nothing. Literally, he's thinking nothing.
Wow.
Not all the time. I'm not saying you can use this as an excuse. You know, men, because, you know, if you're worried or something, like, you know, you're not allowed to suppress. But, you know, they can actually go to this place where they're just not thinking of anything.
That's intense.
And it's, you know, I do it sometimes, it's nice, you know, because it's like, okay, for me, it's more of like, okay, I'm resetting. So, like, I'm shifting from one point to another, and I'm just really not thinking about anything right now. Like, I'm just, that's it.
Wow.
And it's not that long, but it happens. And women are always... So I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know, that women can do that and men can do that, and it works well together, or yin and yang can do that. So I feel like, you know, again, going back to my question about, you know, depends on your relationship, I think that has a part to do with it as well. Like, you know, what's the framework, what's the parameters of the relationship. So obviously you and I have that commitment, so it's like, give me what is it? You know, where have I hit off bounds, or where did I, you know, where did I stub what glass wall did I run into this time? Because I have no idea what it is, but my head hurts.
Yeah, exactly.
So what happened? And I need that female bird's eye view to kind of tell me that I hit that wall, because I don't see the wall, but my head hurts, as a metaphor.
Yeah, no, and this is really, really good, because, you know, this is obviously, you know, we're married, so we do have that commitment,
of course,
like, to bring out the worst in each other, to become the best version of ourselves.
That's right.
And so this is what marriage is about, and everybody who thinks about that, you know, walking into the sunset happily ever after, yes, it's true, but it looks quite different from, you know, what Hollywood...
I mean, you're going into the sun.
Exactly. So it can get really, really hot. So either way, you know, in our relationship, like in our marriage, obviously, I'm responsible for, or the woman is responsible for keeping the man in check spiritually. And this is one thing, you know, in my day when I used to do goddess workshops, this one time it was maybe a room full of maybe 50 women. I got scared. They started to threaten me when I said that.
That sounds scary.
Yeah, very.
What?
That it's, yes, I mean, I had this in private sessions, that when I told my women that, no, don't complain about your relationship. Oh, but my husband, my boyfriend, whatnot, he's not spiritual, and da da da. I say, he doesn't need to be spiritual. You need to be spiritual. And then he lives in your space because you hold the space of the relationship. And he will, just by default, act more spiritual. You know, he doesn't need to start wearing white robes and, you know, do 100,000 prostration before breakfast. None of that. Like, if you are with a man and you are spiritual and you uphold, like, spiritual law, just as a matter of fact, your partner, your husband, will be spiritual too. And the women did not like to hear that. They really didn't. They thought, you know, that was bullshit, and, you know, the men were oh so bad, and if, you know, my husband would just be more spiritual, I could be more happy. I said,
That's like, yeah, like they wanted to blame.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of women who hate men.
Yeah, and at the same time, then they can feel justified saying, oh, men just don't like powerful women. This is totally not true.
Mm-hmm.
But a powerful woman is not like a person that just stomps around and uses bad language and thinks, is the better man.
Nice.
A powerful woman is a woman who knows these things, that she just creates the space for the man to walk and live in. And if that space is spiritual, so is the man.
Fascinating. Let's take a quick break and we'll come back right after that. This episode of Ageless is brought to you by Speechless, our super intense, thought-provoking podcast available on Patreon. Google Speechless on Patreon and sign up today. Okay, we are back and we have been talking about some cool stuff. My next question for you on today's episode, dearest Aurelia, is what is Urlaub daheim?
Oh, I have no idea, in all honesty.
What does it translate into?
I really don't. It's like vacation at home.
Oh,
like
gosh,
a
we had the best
staycation.
intentions.
Oh,
but
did.
You guys, as we always have said, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. I tell ya, we have tried to. We travel a lot. Like, we used to, like, at least 6 months out of the year. And now we've been in one place now since, when did we get back from LA?
Saturnia doesn't count.
No, like, doesn't matter. So it's like, we've been here since...
The longest...
Like ever. 6 months, I guess. I don't even know.
More than that.
We've been here now.
You have been in LA, but I was here with the little dog puppy.
For a baby.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, either way, it doesn't matter. We didn't want to go anywhere for summer vacation, for our solar returns, and we also just didn't want to go out because, with Corona, being released into the earth, into the atmosphere, we are in this time of plague. So it's more than the bacteria. It literally means that the negative forces have permission to do harm. So the quarantine is not a bad suggestion, because as long as you're in your home, you cannot be harmed by, when you're going outside and stuff. Now, unless you're doing like spiritual things, like, outside, you are vulnerable to being contaminated by this quote unquote plague, which is also spiritual. Okay, so that's the preface. There's just no reason that we wanted to, do a vacation here and do anything like that. Now we're in August, so vacation time's over. But the thing is, like, for us anyhow, and the thing is, we tried to have a staycation.
And we failed.
We failed.
We failed with leaps and bounds.
Miserably. You want to talk about that? I mean, maybe other people are experiencing this. I mean, maybe you guys are doing it great. I mean, we have, like, an amazing home. We have an amazing, environment. Like, it's really relaxing. We have all kinds of stuff. But, there's just something to taking vacation and relaxing somewhere else.
Because
talk about it.
I mean, we on any given day, like, we like to go and eat out, but we made an effort to really go eat out, as if we were on vacation where you don't have to cook where you don't have to do anything, blah, blah. It's still...
You still have to cook, you still have to clean, you still have to make your bed, you don't get mints on your pillow, even though I tried to do it. You still have to, and it's like, because I don't do Airbnb, sorry, but it's like you still have to do all these things, and it's just not the same.
It's not the same. I mean, even when we were going to the lake or something, and everything here in Bavaria is geared towards tourism anyway. I mean,
right.
We live in this amazing environment where people from all over the world come,
yeah.
and do vacation, but we really couldn't do it because there was always just this one thing that I can just do and sit down at my computer and just do it.
I mean, let's also give them context. Like, I mean, I work on vacation anyway, so it's not unusual for me to do that because, I mean, I can never really be on vacation because it's like, there are things that I have to do. I mean, it's not like intense work day, but it's like, there are things that have to be done. But, and that's okay. I still feel like, I'm on vacation.
Yeah, I mean, even when we were in Australia and, we had an apartment and we did have to go shopping and we did have to cook and we did have to clean and, like the cleaners were coming once a week. I mean, here the cleaners come even twice a week. So, I really shouldn't be complaining, but it's totally, totally different. And yes, like there maybe I also work just a little bit, but I don't know. I sit down at my computer here and I feel like I'm in work mode.
You think it's like the environmental energy or like...
Yeah. I think it's...
I mean, we have our own rhythm. I mean, that's another thing, like when we have our own rhythm already, like our work days are different than traditional work days and stuff like that. Like we set our own hours and we do our own thing and stuff. Like we have discipline and stuff. We have to have meetings during business hours with people who don't have this kind of flexibility. But like, it's just it's the environmental energy, I guess.
Yeah, but you would think, that because you have an office and you didn't go, but that was not because of the vacation. I mean, you stopped going ever since Corona hit.
I only go to meet people. Meet clients.
That's right. But you no longer really work at your office.
I do not.
Home all the time, and
I respect the plague.
What used to be my gym room is now the home office. So
that's right.
And I stopped going in there pretty much.
I put the monitor on the bike.
Yeah. That's really funny. So either way, like for me, the impression of the area, because I'm always at home, right? Like the moment I sit down at my desk, I'm like in work mode.
You're a house cat.
Ha.
Yeah,
I am.
Yeah. I know, it's intense. So staycation sucks. It sucked for us. I mean, maybe you guys are good at it and more disciplined, but I feel like if you have to be disciplined to relax, that's not really relaxing.
Not at all.
I mean, there's just not... I mean, that's just for me.
For me too. I mean, I said it to Arik, because then I said, okay, I can do 3 things a day, okay? And then, like, that was my plan. I can do that. Okay, so I did the 3 things, and then let's say I would just hang out and chill and read a book. I felt bad. Man, it's the middle of the week. Why am I not working? I did my 3 things, So, either way, there's so much for Willab to house. Like, it's not for me.
No,
seriously.
I think
it's not.
I think it's a fantasy, and I think it's just something you have to accept that's a fantasy. And it's just...
And like I said, maybe not for people who have a 9 to 5 and then they just stay at home and have grill parties, and so I don't know, maybe for them it's different. But because
everybody's working from home anyway. Most people are working from home office anyway.
Yeah, like I said.
So it's really interesting times, but it's... I mean, really, most people are. I mean, I talk to people who have corporate jobs almost every day. and they're all working from home.
Mm.
I mean, like at big multi-million-dollar companies.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like,
But they're not on vacation. Ha ha ha. Let's try them to have a vacation at home.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's exactly
true.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like everyone's working
Yeah.
from home now.
Mm-hmm.
The president works from home.
I don't think he ever has a vacation.
I think he does actually.
Oh.
But I'm just saying, like, you know, the president of the United States works from home. But you know, that's
The White House.
the
That
White
doesn't
House.
count.
Yeah, it's public property. But yeah, it's interesting. So anyhow, maybe you guys have better luck than we do. If you're listening to this on YouTube, you know, you can give us a comment about it, or you can, you know, send me a message on Instagram or something. Like, maybe you guys have better luck than we do. Either ways, we suck at staycations.
We really do.
But we really tried it, and
gave it our best.
so anyhow, we hope wherever you are that you're getting restoration, because that's the most important thing, and that we could do.
Yes.
To restore. We
Yeah.
do it, you know, on a
Always.
weekly basis, so that's no
Yeah.
problem. But staycation is a no. So anyhow, we hope you enjoyed this episode of Ageless, and please listen to us on, you know, whatever your medium is, on iTunes or I guess Apple Music or podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, like all kinds of podcasting.
We're everywhere.
We're everywhere. And please consider subscribing to Speechless, where we really get into some deep, intense discussions about what's going on in the world, within and without. And this has been Arik.
And Aurelia.
And you've just listened to an episode of Ageless. Bye, guys.
Bye.